Good day, everyone. It is a super pleasure to be with you and spend time with you. I wanted to come in this weekend and try to catch up, but I just couldn't get my butt going. I had so many things to do, trying to get the school ready here. We've got class coming up here, in a month or a little over a month, and so each class we always perfect it more. That's our nature. We always try to make it better for you, bigger for you, things like that. Although, we're having a hard time getting everything crammed in the 5-day intensive that we have. And then we have level 2, which we're working on making that one even better. Because it's so much fun, learning. And that's the whole thing, because this is really about you. And taking whatever you can that will help you as tools in your journeys. And of course, you can change the nature of your journeys and make some incredible journeys out of this. Some of you have told me stories of out-of-body traveling and spiritual things happening to you. Just neat stuff. And that's what's fun, is start looking within yourself. Start listening within the self. Start turning your attention a little bit away from so much external activity and give you some inner nudging and some inner looking and stuff. There's an old saying, you have to go in to get out. And so that's where you lay down or you relax in meditation and you go within and then you get out. Your body, you pop right out of the body. But truly, it's just a total relaxation in the moment, So I want to get on reading. This is the Q&A. Of course, I got so many questions here, and I just feel like I need a few weeks on the camera here to catch up. So let's get going. The stories, the good things you guys are doing, the incredible regenerations. You guys are just out there proving the points. Just amazing. I was thinking over the weekend that I probably should do another video on the great lymphatic system just to kind of bring it forward, because that's the first video. If you're turning into these videos, you really want to view that video on the great lymphatic system. And I think what I'll do is do another one on that one, and just kind of a refresher on that, so everyone understands when we're talking lymphatic constipation, what kind of constipation are we talking about? When we're talking about acids, what are we talking about here? Not always friendly fellas. Some of the minor acids in the upper, if you want, or lower pHs, however you wish to look at that, are friendly. You got your estrogens and testosterones; they can be a little friendly. But then you get your hotter boys, and they don't take no prisoners, So let me go on and read some of these. Madeline from Texas. In fact, I'll be your way there, dear one. I'm going to leave in July, I think, to Corpus Christi, Texas. Some very good news from my dentist this week. 6 months ago, the dental hygienist measured periodontal pockets, which are not supposed to be greater than 3 millimeters, in my mouth, some of which were 4 and 5 millimeters, although many were 3 millimeters. Monday this week, when I went for my cleaning, the hygienist was elated to find that there were no 4 millimeter or 5 millimeter anymore in my mouth, only one deep 3 millimeter, which they're going to watch. All the others are very good. See, I'm telling you, it's just so cool, because you see the body. We were just talking to Shannon here a few minutes ago. We're putting the class together, and I did a lot of work this weekend on the school. And I'm sure what I want changed and what I want added and stuff like that. And we're talking about, of course, how the fatty acids of the body are absorbed through the villi, which are the ribs of your colon and your small bowel. Most of nutrition is absorbed in the small intestines, which is about 22 feet long in most people. And of course, in the 3 basic vertebrates of the frugivores, herbivores, and omnivores, you basically have a ringed colon, or a ringed, I'll say, small bowel. And they're just full of what they call villi. It's ringed. They're just tons. What the GI tract is set up for is maximum absorption of nutrients. That is not true with a carnivore. They're smooth GI tracts. And why is that? And again, we get into the high putrefactiveness and acidity of meat and protein, and why it's essential that a cat or a carnivore have the meat. But also, if you're going to give them pre-digested proteins or pre-digested vegetable matter would be okay, I guess. Now, the dentist was watching several areas between my teeth. None of these are of concern now either. I told them that I wasn't doing anything differently in my oral care routine. They said that diet can make a difference. So the strict diet I am on has borne this fruit. Of course it has, my dear. And that's the beauty of it, is the body is an incredible regenerator. But again, in our discussion this morning, I was telling her how that fatty acids are absorbed into the lymphatic capillaries, not the blood capillaries. Imagine absorbing the body. When you look at the design of the human body, just that alone would pull someone into understanding there is an intelligence that created everything. So whatever one wishes to name that intelligence, I guess I stick with the word God for now, although there's other names I use that I know that comes from deeper understanding of that being, but if we can even call it that. But incredible, incredible, incredible. But if you look at just the fatty acids, and it makes sense that fats or fatty acids are absorbed into the lymphatic system. That means the lymphatic system in some way needs to take those lipids, those fatty acids, to the liver to convert or to join, unless if there's another way. So interesting that the lymphatic system is both a carrier and a cleaner. It's on one side it's a sewer system. On the other side it's your immune system. On the other side it's your lip. You see what I'm saying? But if you look at the role of lipids, you'll find not only we find the cushioning effects and so many things about lipids and nerves and brains, but also the huge anti-inflammatory processes of the human body, and how all chemistry is dealt with in these pH factors. And I just think there's so much ignorance about the lymphatic system and how it works that I don't know, in the next 10 years, I think that because of all of you, and a lot of you doctors out there really can wrap your heads around that and really look at that differently and understand why it's a lipid system, that whole understanding of acids from cells and the need of the body to convert, to break down, or to neutralize to some degree. So there's all types of processes going from conversions and breaking acids apart to bacteria and breaking them down to minor acids and things like that. So there's always these processes to keep the chemistry in the body within some of homeostatic balance, which there's no way you're going to have a sense of homeostasis. That word is kind of like static to me, because there is constant flux of chemistry, dealing in activity, dealing in the very thought and emotion of the individual as well. So there's so much to the lymphatic system that we don't know that is so good that it's just, you guys are at the forefront of that, I think. I've been watching your videos. It is very addicting. Oh, thanks. Thanks. This is Yeni, Y-E-N-I. Yeni? I don't know. Some names you guys told me are tough for an old country boy. Also, I love Jen and Marcy. Aren't they nice? I tell you, these guys are good folk. It's taken a lot of years to find the right people to work for us in a small town like this, and God had to bring us some, and it's tough, because you have attitudes in people and you have all kinds of things, and we're a loving private health club here. We're moving more into this private health club for all types of reasons, and I want loving people. We have a world of sickness here, and that needs help bad. First, I want to oh, you're welcome, sweetheart. My mother's friend, she is 73 years old, has been diagnosed for a tumor in her kidney. She has blood in her pee. What is the most important thing that she needs to do? Well, the one thing that's nice is that tumor is right there at the door. All right? So the first thing I do, grape fast. I mean, this is a serious issue, no question. She could lose her kidney over this, no question, and she's about to. So depending how big that tumor is and how much of the kidney that's broken down, but I probably wouldn't even focus on that right now. I'd go on a grape diet or on a fruit and berry melon diet. You don't want to hit the kidneys with complex amino structures from vegetables. You really want to pull back into the very high flavonoid rich fruits and berries and melons. Be gentle yet powerful on the kidneys. And I would definitely take off in the kidneys, but this is where you want to at least do one lymphatic formula. And I would do a liquid because it's going to get to the kidneys quicker. So this is where I would probably do a lymph node number 5 and kidney number 1 and kidney number 2. One in capsule and one in liquid, and really start trying to open that door. With that said, I'd take an adrenal formula to kick up the adrenals, which is going to kick up the neurotransmitters to the kidneys, and of course the mineralization or the balance of minerals through the kidneys as well, which can bring a better metabolism and things like that to the kidney tissues. And it's possible to get rid of a tumor naturally. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you just reverse how you form them. Just remember that. These are not things to be scared of. If you've ever had a boil or a sty or a big pimple, you're on the way to tumors and cysts and polyps, things like that. These are holding tanks. These are pockets of fluid. Well, how many fluids in the human body? Only 2, really, if you want to keep it simple. And that's what you see. Anytime you pop a real juicy pimple, you see interstitial fluid. You see just a trace of blood and mostly pussy, lymphy, mucousy stuff. And that's your sewer system. That's the lymph system. And that's everywhere you go. And that's also internal as well as topical. It doesn't matter. Just different sites that they grow on. But it shows stagnation in a system that's supposed to carry this sewage away, these acids away. And so when your body can't expel them and it's overran with foods that are coming into it that are acidic and mucus forming and high proteins, this damages the human body. There's been in this field, in our field, there's been books written by medical greats, naturopathic greats, homeopathic greats throughout the years in the 1800s dealing in this whole concept of protein, and that man has too much fixation on protein. It is the opposite. He should have more fixation on carbon than nitrogen. My opinions. I would suggest her to eat raw fruits and vegetables only. I would get rid of the vegetables, dear. Get this tumor out of her, and then you're done. And it also, of course, highly suggests if she's not filtering at all. So she's got a lymph system all through her body backed up, because generally when you start getting cysts or tumors on the kidney or adrenals, they've stopped filtering themselves. So her creatine's going way up, things like this. But mainly fruits. Take the herbs, kidney, bladder, and lymphatic. You guys are good. Here's another one she got. Perfect. Heal all tea. Absolutely. Start drinking the heal all tea, instead of water or anything else. And sip it and drink it. Don't make it too strong, but at the same time, that'll start cleaning those kidneys out. Good take. Good take. And what else am I missing? I don't think you're missing too much. I think you're doing pretty good here. Real good. This is exactly how you save someone with kidney or any tumor. This could be a tumor anywhere, guys. You're going to treat it the same way. So this lady is right on, or man is right on spot. I like that, you guys. Should she exercise while doing all these herbs and foods? Don't overcreate more acids in the body. That's an oxymoron. If you just think of it common sensely, why would you want, if you're having a hard time getting rid of your acids from the cells, why would you want to complicate things and increase those acids by large numbers by activity when nature dictates you rest when you're not feeling good? See what I'm saying? We don't listen. We think we can go burn it off. Well, you can't. You cannot go exercise and force that tumor out of there. You're only going to make it grow. And that's the problem. So we have to know when to hold them, when to fold them, when to go, when to settle down. Absolutely. Know that sauna would definitely help? Yep. Boy, you guys are good. You guys are some of the best healers I know out there. And this is just this is how you get people well. This is how you save people. Just like what this individual, Y-E-N-A, Yeni, She used to have breast cancer, but it has been removed, and she went through chemotherapy. Well, that's a nice little end to it. See, here's the thing. She's always had kidney problems. To have the breast cancer, you have to have the kidneys, right? The breast is just a bunch of cells, right? Two fluids, right? And where does the lymph system dump from the breast? Right here. Right here's the septic field. Right under the arm is the septic field. These are axillary lymph nodes, right? And then, look, the kidney's right there. Look, it's just a drain right to the kidney. Oops, not happening. So when you see these lymph nodes swelling up, why? There's a blockage down below. The blockage isn't at top. The blockage isn't here. The blockage is back here. And so once you open that up, she's had kidney problems all along here. Of course, the chemo, I don't know. You just have to get into that person. You get them detoxed as fast as possible. Get the kidneys filtering fast as possible. Get the chemo. I had a lady that tasted chemo 2 years after she started detoxing. 2 years she was still tasting the chemo she took. That's scary, as it infiltrates all the little cracks and crevices interstitially of the body. These guys are nightmare freaks. God dang. Hey, Doc Morris, I hope you are well. Very well, thank you very much. I was wondering if you could tell me what you do in my situation. Absolutely, man. I currently have a lot of redness on my face from my doctor prescribing me benzoyl peroxide on my face from around 2 years ago to treat my acne. Due to this, I have some visible broken blood vessels on my cheek, as well as persistent redness, inflammation. I am currently on the raw and have been for about 2 months, as well as your herbs. I went to a dermatologist to see what could be done, and he suggested a course of B-beam laser to try and treat this redness. In other words, let's burn your face to get rid of the redness. Wait a minute. Burning causes redness, right? I mean, come on. This is your sewer system, man. This is your lymph system. And you're just not filtering through your kidneys. So you got to get your kidneys and adrenals detoxing. And this is true. There's so many of you guys writing in with skin problems. So you got to know. Maybe I should just I thought I did a video on skin. You want me to do one? Because really it's just understanding that you have sewage circulating all through the body. But under the skin, what's called subcutaneous areas, this is all thick with lymph and goes to the lymph nodes. So this is a big deal, and it just shows that you're backed up all the way down. Let me tell you, it's not just here that you have problems in your face like rosacea and stuff. It's all the way down below and probably all the way in your brain, man. So this is why it's so important. Who is this? Oh, this is ABHZ. Abids? Yeah, you really have to get in there and get that lymph to move. And this is where you can use those neurolymphatic points down the back and across the sternum here and really kind of get moving this lymph. Saunas and all this. It might look a little red. Now listen, hot and cold. Hot, real hot washcloth. Real cold washcloth. Scrub real hot because you're pulling these wastes out. You ever pop your skin and you get this white stuff out? That's lymph. It's just sewage, acid sewage. So you can burn your face even more if you want. But I wouldn't recommend it, or you stop popping basal cells. I wouldn't recommend that. I'd really recommend you detox properly and you get your lymph moving through your kidneys and you get your GI tract clean, because that's got to drain the head too. So don't forget the gut and the kidneys, the GI tract and the kidneys, and you'll pull this out, my friend, and you'll get it done. Go on some fasts, get in some great fasting and stuff like that, and start pulling that out. When I first was a fruitarian, I had rosacea from early on. It's just milk. And so I just kept detoxing and pulled it out of there. This is from Ali. I wanted to understand why herbs work in the body in general. What is it inside of them from a chemistry point of view? Interesting. Well, I'll tell you what. I've got some herbal chemistry books here that run me about $500 a piece. You know what? I quit getting that intellectual. We're finding active principles in all the herbs, and we're naming them. And so there's just, they're all rich with the flavonoids, the coumarins, the tannins, the alkaloids, the astringents, Those are the active principles that do things. Flavonoids and astringents, coumarins, flavins. I mean, you've got alkaloids, you've got your tannins, you've got all kinds of things that have actions. Each one has a specific action in the human body to create things. But here's something I want you to think about too. It isn't just the chemistry. It's what's driving the chemistry. Now, what drives chemistry? The same thing that drives magnetics. And what drives magnetics? What did we discover in quantum physics that's the leap from the mundane, the duality, to the infinite? Intelligence, consciousness. That's the driver. That's a driver of yourself. It's a driver of all life. Is awareness, consciousness. Always. So that plant is very aware. Remember the lady that on the news that was going to they were going to remove dogs out of airports, bomb sniffing dogs out of airports because they were only like 70-some% accurate. And this lady from one of these universities, smart lady, she's probably a botanist and everything else, is using her plants because she trained her plants. Get this, she trained her plants to turn colors depending upon the type of chemical that they're perceiving. There's no intelligence there, right? And so they're in the 90s or 100% accurate over dogs. And it's like, I already knew plants were aware, so it wasn't for me, but the average person should have went, what? That's pretty cool. That shows you all life is driven by consciousness, awareness. And that's what you have to look at. All these active principles and plants, all the chemistry and how it is, I'm going to tell you, life is nothing but pH variances. So between the pH variances, the individual constituents and the consciousness behind the flavins or behind the astringents, and then the whole consciousness of the plant itself, the whole magnetic reason it's there. I mean, you've got all these factors, Ali. You've got all these factors to consider. But it's not just the herbs. It's also in the fruit you're eating. It's also in the vegetables you're eating. Everything comes from the same. So you've got a chemical consciousness, you have a magnetic consciousness, and you have the consciousness. So, I mean, it's just amazing. And we still don't know. I mean, it's just understanding the lymph system in our world right now is a whole nother field of discovery. Just like understanding plants have awareness and active principles. Is it just very high magnetics that Dr. Morse talks about? Well, yes, in the sense that magnetics, remember in quantum physics, magnetics, energy is intelligent. Wait a minute, energy? Wait, is intelligent? Wait, spirit, prana, the life force, the chi. See what I'm saying? There's so much to life that is so fascinating, that's so beautiful. Why are we still having wars here? What's going on with this level? This level is out of balance. And this level needs you guys, real importantly, to bring this self back into balance. It's sucking into the negative forces. What's the end of the yugas, I guess. But still, you got to always have the light bearers. You always have to. Or the worlds will just implode on themselves. Why are they not seen as external hormones for the body's glands to stop making its hormones like cortisol, etc.? What makes glandulars different? I'm not sure what I'm saying there. Why are they not seen as external hormones for body's glands to stop making its hormones like... Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know that plant chemistry is hormonal in nature. You know, I'm sure there's hormones and steroids in the plant world in its own activity, which we use. I'm sure that exists there as well. Glandulars are just the cells, tissues of related glands, like eating a chicken's heart or a chicken's gizzard or a chicken's liver. Same thing, except it's not cooked, it's desiccated. It's magnetic likes, energetic likes. You know, it's like feeling really down one day and then your friend comes in and comes around, bubbling with energy, puts the arm around you, gives you a hug, and pretty soon that energy from your friend is infectious, pulls you up out of the slumbers of despair and goes, oh yeah, I think I'll have a good day now. Glandulars. I want you to understand in general how and why glandulars work to help rebuild glands. That sort of way. A hug from a friend, so to speak. A magnetic hug from a friend. A like friend that has the same body, the same consciousness that you have similarly, and just different species. But definitely invigorates the glands. There's no question about it. Many of you have had to come off of them. They're so powerful you had to go slow. But they're only really used as a kick, in my opinion. The adrenals need the biggest kick. But all these other ones, you just use the thyroid, the pituitary short term, just for a kick. You want these glands to hold. But if you're a gland sitting there full of mucus in you, even a glandular can only do so much. You got to remove the mucus, the acid, the congestion, in other words. That's the lymph system. That's the fluid that flows around the cell that cleans the cell. Not the blood. It's the fluid that cleans the cell, the interstitial, the lymphatic fluids. When that isn't moving, that's the pain, the acidosis, the swelling, the tumors. This is Joni. Joni, I love you too, sweetheart. My cousin is suffering from serious depression and anxiety, and I was wondering how long it would take to heal him on average. All right, so here's the thing. You know immediately depression, where are you guys going to go to? You're going to go to his parathyroid, right? Well, he's got anxiety too. Well, wait a minute. You're going to go right down to the adrenals, aren't you? You're going to go right down to his emotional body, his adrenal glands. So you're going to go right into the adrenal glands. You're going to go right into the parathyroid. This is a case where you would use glandulars where he's a chronic level of this. You know, when you're chronic. Now, here's another thing. Remember the flower essences. The Running Fox Farm flower essences. I mean, she's got all kinds of kits. Many of you have called and talked to her. She's such a sweet, very psychic lady, guys. And she makes all kinds of these for out-of-body travels and everything else. I would use at least Moonshine Yarrow. She's got a whole kit. So you might, we got her kits in now. You might call in and get a kit. Talk to Brenda if you want. Or look at the kits. Definitely you want to get flower essence to support that while you're in the body working on this parathyroid and adrenals. Now, what else can you think of that could have a relationship that could foster more depression and anxiety? I'm going to say fungal loads. So I'm going to say that this is a man you want to give a parasite in for a while. You want to deworm him too. You want to clean the parasites out of him. You want to hook him to some living food to energize, to awaken the dead. You want to get those kidneys filtering. There's the adrenals are down. You know he's not filtering. Well, there's the adrenals, the anxiety. So you know the kidneys are probably down. So you're going to go into that world and wake everybody up. You're going into that inner world of the physical body that's been ravished with acid proteins and mucus from the milks and all the foreign chemicals from chemtrails and just the crap we throw in the air and all the drinks that are full of crap and acids from the Cokes to the colored flavor. You're going to clean all this stuff out of this poor human body that people have put so much crap into to get them well. You know, it's all about the fuel sources. Now, how long? You could start probably pulling him. It just depends. His constitution, how bad his lymph system is, how down. Now, keep in mind, you always want to keep in the back of your mind, pituitary, pituitary, pituitary. Does this guy sleep well? Does he have insomnia too? If you're into the endos, let's go with the endos. Or he's insomnia. That's the pineal gland. Uh-oh, we're up here now. We're down here. This is mucus city. This is sinus, mucus, lungs, bronchitis, is all lymph. Going on up here. If this is full, the chances of his sinuses are full, then you've got pineals up there and pituitaries up there, and pituitaries can slam all the ones below. So you have to consider that, and then remember when we're talking about this in iridology, one of the things that iridology has brought to our attention is that this transverse colon, the colon that goes across your abdomen, that one controls the head. And so you got to worry about that too. So you're going to get into the kidneys, the adrenals. Because you got to get in the adrenals for the anxieties. You're going to go in the GI tract and clean it up. You're going to start draining this head. You're going to kill fungus. You're going to get into that parathyroid and pop it up. Maybe a little thyroid. Take a look at all that. As he's in a bad way and time to not for the essence, would he be best to go on a straight grape fast? Boy, if he could, well, I would work him to that. You know, do a salad at night, fruits of the day, a salad at night, and then push him into a little bit of a grape fast. Absolutely. Are you kidding? Absolutely. But use the flower essence to support him in his emotional body for a little while he's going through this. I think will be a big help. Or would this further imbalance his emotions? I don't think so. It's not about unbalance, it's weaknesses. Anxiety is about weakness, not unbalance. He's just started pharmaceuticals, unfortunately. Can I treat him alongside these meds? Absolutely, Joni, but I'll tell you, I'd sit down and have a little talk with him. These pharmaceuticals can... Look at all these shootings and stuff. And really, almost every one of them I hear has a pharmaceutical connection. But notice how we just don't hear about the kid that killed all these young kids and the pharmaceuticals he was on. Oh, no, it's about the guns. I said that before, but it's just like, come on, people. You got it. That someday the karma's dragon, the dragon tail of the karma's got to come back and hit them, because you can't keep putting pharmaceuticals on the market and selling these chemicals to people with the blessing of the FDA. You cannot continue to do this and not eventually create a war here in this country, because you're killing so many people that people are just about have their belly full of that. Hi, I'm currently breastfeeding my son who is 1.5. I have purchased the Fab 4 and GI Broom as well as Adrenal Blend. While pregnant, I found out I had HPV. What do you recommend while breastfeeding? Thanks. Sweetheart, I'd recommend you douche with the Heal All tea for about 2 weeks. And you want to douche once in the evening. Get yourself in a bathtub. Make yourself some tea. Get it to skin temperature. Get yourself in a bathtub with a douche bag or a hot water bottle, and insert as far as you can up in there, and let it hold up in yourself for a little while, and then put your hips down, release it, and then do it again. And wash yourself out down there in the female area, because that's what that formula is for. It'll clean all that out of there and convert these cells back. The other thing is, now the son is 1.5 years old. I hope you already have him on fruit and fruit juices and coconut milks, because right now you should be. You're about the end of breastfeeding time. You're about the end of his enzymes for that. And you want to be cautious, because he can start getting too much mucus from your breast milk now. He should have been on fruits 6 months ago. So you want to make sure, if you have him on fruits or no, you want to get him on fruits, or her, and really get your baby going on fruits right now and get him away from milky thinking. These proteins after 2 years old don't work. You start causing more mucus than you do help. And he should have been on fruits, if he already is or not, and coconut water instead of breast milk after a while. Start bringing in the power of nature and stuff. And, of course, you're on raw too, right, and stuff. So really go after that. But clean your lymph system up, sweetheart. But do the douching. That'll clean that out. But go into your lymph system now. You already started, and start cleaning that out, because that's the reason for it. Even though it's the vaginal wall, it's still all kidney connected and lymphatic connected and everything else, acids breaking down cell syndromes, that sort of thing. But that's what that tea is, ladies. Don't be afraid to douche with it. I don't care what people say. We've cleaned up so many vaginal wall cancers, cervical cancers and stuff, and this is just, not that we treat cancers, wrong thing, but these are what they're diagnosed with. Hello, I have 8 days old. Oh, look at this. I have 8 days old newborn baby. Oh, some doctors recommend me to administer vitamin D3 drops starting 2 weeks. You're stressing the liver already, eh? Should I proceed with this recommendation? I don't know why. I think you get the baby out in the sun like anything else, indirectly. And let that full spectrum lighting kind of surround the body a little bit. Don't be afraid to introduce your baby to nature, no matter how young. You're just being smart about all of that, of course. And, of course, if you're breastfeeding, you're going to be... but if you get plenty of sun yourself, I don't see why you would need to supplement this. It is necessary for a newborn to take these vitamins for a year or more, as the doctors say. I don't get with that. That's a new thinking out there. I have no idea why that would be true. I don't see where it would hurt the baby either. So I don't know. I say, if you really want to get that sun going, because you want full spectrum lighting in those eyes. If you guys are using sunglasses, toss them. You really need that full spectrum lighting into that sun. Notice when you wear sunglasses, then you have to adjust to that light. If you wear them too much, you really start to go blind. Proven facts. Can the mother eat something that would supplement the breast milk with this vitamin for a more natural source? This is really a I don't want to call it a provitamin, if you will. This is really a process of nature and getting full spectrum lighting on the skin and the conversion of the body into the D3. So really, when men makes it, I always scratch my head and go, wait a minute here. You know, just get more into indirect sunlighting, a little into the direct sun if you want with a baby, and you know, enjoy nature a little bit more. That's what I would do. I've never given any of my babies D3. And my kids are pretty strong, pretty big and pretty strong. And all of my grandsons are smart as whips and strong, no D3. So I don't know what the hell. You know, everybody comes up with these things. Oh, you got to have it. Hello there. Firstly, I am new to all of this. My name is Samantha. I was wondering if you could answer a few questions that I have. Absolutely, and welcome aboard, Samantha. Good to have you aboard. This is just a site to get well. And this is basically 43 years of practicing with and still practicing. Someday I'm going to get this right, and I'll be done practicing. But right now I am in practice. Man, you guys have taught me so much. It's amazing, and I'm passing it back to you. Because we all are on the same team here. No one is above another. We're here to help the world raise their consciousness and awareness on all fronts. That's essential. This isn't a happy place anymore, you notice? It's real bad, going down fast. It needs the light, and you guys are the light. You know, I can't have one or two. We got to have a lot of light bulbs, and that's how I see you guys. I see each and every one of you as a light in the darkness. And we're getting more lights in the darkness to where the darkness will light up like a Christmas tree and there will be no more darkness. Minorly so. I am a member of your Facebook. Oh, wow. And there is a lot of helpful people there that have helped so far. However, I have been watching a couple of older videos that you have done, and you mentioned that so many people on the Facebook side are finding their remedy by following your protocols. However, I have found that still quite a lot of people are still struggling, even after doing your program for a period of time. I was wondering if you knew the reasons for this. Oh, yeah. We need a bunch.
20.
Well, I love that book.
20, yeah, it tells you everything.
Okay, yeah, it tells you everything in there, and we're out of them.
Yeah.
So I appreciate, yeah, good deal. We're talking about composition and facts about foods by Ford Heritage. I love this book. This is an old book. It tells you the protein content, the calcium, the magnesium, all the mineral content of the foods, the vitamin contents, the metabolisms of all the protein stuff. It's just full of great intellectual knowledge. But I love it. It's redone now, but that's 68. Copyrighted 1968. I had that book so many years ago. It was a fun book. Well, here's the thing, sweetheart. Samantha, there are all levels of involvement of people. All levels of involvement. If you had two MS clients sitting in front of you, one could start walking in 6 months. I told the lady you guys are talking to on Facebook, I gave her 6 months to walk. It took her 7. Well, you never know. Sometimes the limbs are worse, the kidneys are worse, the adrenals are worse. You can't judge that. You can't judge time. It's not like medical doctors who have all these pills and they know what the symptoms are going to be except for fatal events and all. No, that doesn't even exist. No one can tell you some things, and one of them is how long is it going to take you? Because there's all types of criteria. There is the actual doing of the program as opposed to people saying they are. There is the emotional components to that. There are all kinds of components. There are the surroundings of the person, their mates, whether they're on their side or not. The family, same thing. I mean, there's all kinds. Most of you are now getting your feet wet in working with people or running across things of what reality is working in people's personal lives and their health issues. It's quite interesting job and stressful to say the least because you're right in people's worlds. And these are souls on long journeys, Samantha. You don't know what all the things they're clinging to. So everybody is certainly different. Everybody's got to walk in this way someday, or some part of this in terms of getting well. Detoxification has been around since the dawn of time. We're just perfecting it at the level we need it for the level at this time. I mean, we have some very chronic and degenerative problems, and these are not round real quick. Some of you strong constitution people that have more subacute problems, you're going to bam it out the park. But some of you are more chronic or degenerative. You might be a couple of years yet, and it can take a while. I mean, look at Babe. I don't know where we are, Babe. I haven't talked with you in so long. I have no idea where you are. But it's enough to say that you went 600-700 days on juice fasting, more vegetables than fruit, because you couldn't handle the fruit. And that's the point. But it shows if she'd have had 700 days on fruit, you can't imagine where she'd be. You just know, you can't imagine, because that many days on fruit will take you into worlds way, way out there, and incredible regeneration. But she couldn't, and the reason she couldn't was her body was so toxic that to do that with a fruit, she just couldn't handle it. So she had to do what she had to do to get well, however slow it was. And you got to respect her for that, because she took her time, she knew what she needed to do, and she did. I mean, how many people go 700 days or more? I don't know where she's at, on just juices. So it's an incredible life journey that she's on. And many of you are on those, but it shows you each has to take it as they can, knowing their bodies and knowing what the goal is and where we're going, you know. So Samantha, you can't judge that with other people. Some are going to be working hard for their problems. Others are going to turn around. And I'll tell you one thing, it has a lot to do with attitude too. You got to check the attitude at the door. You got to go in, open up, full love, full knowing, full knowing. You know, the mind is your worst enemy. Let me tell you. You might think it's your friend, but it isn't. It'll trap you. It'll take you into worlds you don't want to be. Just try living in the moment and watch the mind take you away from that. Constantly nipping at you, trying to take you away from the moment. You can't stop thinking without the mind going, well, back there, just watch this. And then come a thought. You know, so it's interesting. You're in an interesting world, interesting place. Now, are they doing something wrong? Because it just seems to me that even after the program, not everyone finds their remedy. It can take some people several years to get their remedy. But there's so many things involved in that, sweetheart, in terms of focus and the lymph system, how how weak the adrenals are, how weak the kidneys are, how fast. So look at this. Some people get filtration in the kidneys within days. Days. Others take months and months before their kidneys even filter. Explain that one to me, Samantha, because I don't know that one either. But I can tell you we're working toward that. So you have to realize you're in a very unconscious world. And you can't, there's no judgment to it. It's just so unconscious, and everybody's at such a different level. But that's the beauty of it, the fact that there's always a remedy there for you if you want it. It might take you a while, but it's there. Never seen anybody that couldn't get it, honey. Never could. Some different people, different times, different strokes for different folks. That's all I can say to you. I would also like to ask you as to whether you have ever thought about creating two different types of herbal formulas. What I mean by this is a cheaper variety of the... Smack your hand, Samantha. Well, I couldn't if I tried. I'll tell you why. We have our prices down as about as cheap as you can get them. I'm telling you, you can't. When you're working at this scale, honey, you can't even believe the amount of herbs we burn, the amount of processes involved. You just can't imagine what's involved at this level. It's not going out and crafting some herbs. Oh, look, I found me some herbs for today. It's nothing like that. And so we have, if anything, we've tried so hard to keep our prices down. You guys have no idea. I had them at $18 for years, and we've financially have suffered from this. Other companies, Richard Schultz. My formulas are worth $28 to $36. Well, some of my formulas are sold in California for $36 and up, depending on what practitioners want to sell them for. I don't believe in that sort of thing. but it's enough to say that we should be, these formulas are 4-to-1 concentrates, much better than Schultz's in my opinion, and the formulas are better than Schultz's by far. Richard Schultz, you're following the footsteps of your old friend. Get away and do your own thing. But I'm just saying that these formulas are much stronger, and all I can say is they should be in the 30s. We have them priced right down, and we give wholesale for practitioners. That kills us. Kills us. But you know what? We're not here for the money. If you guys, someone made a comment that I wear the same shirts. I am a little frugal because we've always been poor. Because we have people we have to help. You can't turn down. When you're a healer, you don't turn down people. You don't turn down people. If they ask you for help, you're going to help them one way or another. You know, so there's so much to think about here. Coming out with a cheap one, I'll tell you your best way. If you don't have any money, sweetheart, use teas. Use the herbal teas. Some of you guys are already making your own tinctures. I can recommend that. Go out and buy your bulk. If you need bulk and you can't find good organic bulk, let Brenda know. She can order you in some bulk herbs for you, whatever you like. Brenda's a nurse. She orders all this in for us. So work with that if you like. But I tell you can't get much cheaper. You go to the health food store and look at these formulas. Most of them are 1-to-6, 1-to-7 concentrates. The 1-to-4 way down the road from them. I mean, 1-to-4 is as strong as you can get without losing a total, without your midstream being so thick you can't use it. You're just at a certain point where you just can't get any thicker. And so we're sticking. I pay a lot of extra money for 1-to-4 concentrate. You don't pay near as much. I could do these 1-to-6 or 1-to-7, but I wasn't cut from that fiber. So I could never do that. I just couldn't do that. It would be better for you to use teas and things like that. There is hardship pricing, of course, and then come to the class, you get, just for coming to the class, here's another thing that hurts us, but we do it because we love you guys and we want you out there working. We give you distributor pricing. You come to the class or finish the class, you get distributor pricing. And it's a big, big difference, you know. And so, but we have to have our retail to make it or we wouldn't be in business. You couldn't make a business just wholesale. We'd been out of business years ago. You can't make it with that. You have to have all your levels there in business to make it. Or this is just a bunch of information I'm doing in the back room for you and you go out and find your own stuff. So that, that's just, I'm still in practice in my clinic and we have a health club now. So we're making these for all the members and stuff because that's the only way to do it in modern times, sweetheart. I don't know what else to say about this. This is because I am someone who doesn't have a lot of money. Well, okay, now, do your Fab 4. Do your Fab 4. That's 1 kidney, 1 lymphatic, a GI tract, and an endocrine gland. That's only 4 formulas. If you have a hardship, you write in. She'll look at that. She'll give you a better price break. See, there's plenty of ways to get help. We have freebies on the shelf. I don't know how many we have left, but we have some back there. And for those that just don't have any money, write in, and they'll look at your situation. They'll go back. They'll give you whatever we can free off the shelf. There's always help. Always. There's plenty of YouTubers that would love to help. We help. You're on a spiritual site. This isn't a pseudo side of spirituality. This is a side of love, sweetheart, and of healers. And we will help in some way or another. You will get help. And so try the teas, the Heal All teas, some things like this. Try the Fab 4 and the raw, baby, and hit the fruit. Use what you can afford in the herbs and hit the fruit. GI bags, stuff like these. These are cheap and they last a long, long time. So you can play with those sort of things and use that sort of stuff. I am sure many other people like myself would benefit from a budgeted version of the herbs. I'll give that some thought though and see how I can. I would have to cut them way down. They'd have to be more like water. 1-to-7. That was Dr. Christopher's. Get this. The company that made Dr. Christopher's formulas, which was Nature's Way, they approached me. They distill for 7 days. I do for 30. They use commercial herbs. I use only organic herbs, and they use 1-to-7 concentrates. I'm 1-to-4. Now, maybe that Dave, he's got it back, his son's got it back, and maybe Christopher's going to make him better. But I make my things powerful. And I can't help it. I just can't. But there's other ways to deal with this, sweetie. I would also like to know whether you can direct me to any testimonies of the work that you have been involved in. This a website you have, or are they located elsewhere in the internet? We can talk about the Facebook. We have volumes of books here in the clinic of testimonials. You might call and ask someone if they can look up a copy of a testimonial for you in that way. We have tons of that. Then you can get up on our site. I don't know. Our website is almost done. We've totally redid it. It's being done supposedly by an ace web designer. She's supposedly really good. The site is really good. And we have a chat room on the old ones, or used to, where you could write in and get testimonials that way too. We're real cautious about throwing testimonials up. I am, for one thing, the ego side, but the other thing is the FDA. And this would really start the lawsuit, though, because they went to some holistic thing and told the people, you can't put testimonials on your website, you can't do that. I'd like to cram you-know-what up, you-know-what. Those guys are oozing for a bruising, and they're going to get it coming. They hire all these macho guys with guns and come raid all these people. Let me tell you, you guys, your days are numbered. You can't fight we the people. I don't care how many people you hire and how many guns you have. You can't fight millions of us. So you got to rethink your strategy and quit hurting people, and that's what's going on here. So I don't know what to say. As soon as we know we can put testimonials up there, and more when it's a private club, and it'll be members only, and then we can throw all the testimonials we want up there, and you can have thousands of them if you want. But you have to be careful. This is not like you think, Samantha. There's the powers that be would like to crush us. Because this is taking away money out of the pockets of the AMA. This is taking money out of the hands of the pharmaceutical drug lords. This is, you know what I'm saying? So wake up, Samantha. This is tough out there. I managed to locate some on the Facebook. Was just wondering if there were there. We got lots more. We got tons of these babies. Finally, I suffer from osteoporosis and have done for the last 2 years. I was wondering whether you have a remedy for my condition. Well, it isn't a condition, it's what you're creating, honey. It says you have to look at this. Why is your body removing calcium from your bones or breaking down bone matrix? There's only one word to that one, dear, because calcium is on the base side. So the only other side, when you look at chemistry, when you see something that's antagonistic, you're generally on the other side. Or you're too much of one in terms of ratios. So you're talking about acidosis here, and you're talking about your lymph system. So if you're a mama and you've got babies, the babies took some of your calcium, right? We talk about that. We talk about depression and postpartum depression and the reality of what a mother goes through in giving her goodies sometimes to the babies that she has to have. And that's a problem. So we hit parathyroid thinking pretty strong here, because you got to know about the parathyroid gland and calcium utilization when you're looking at osteoporosis, osteopenia, anything like that. But what's causing this? Why would I borrow calcium out of your connective tissue? Not just happening to your skeletal system, it's happening from your connective tissue as well. So why am I borrowing calcium out of your body? Acidosis. And why would I borrow calcium for acidosis? Neutralizes acids. Calcium is the great neutralizer of acids. You can take it if you have heartburn. It's base chemistry. It's a great alkalizer, so to speak. So calcium is a big factor in this. But if it isn't calcium, what else is it? Cholesterol. Either one can obstruct and cause you all kinds of heartaches, but it'll pull from your bones. So you got to move your lymph system. You're back to that again. Blood isn't pulling calcium unless you're eating proteins. If you eat proteins, your blood now needs calcium because you're taking too much phosphorus in. Too much phosphorus, even though phosphorus is in bone matrix, too much phosphorus is the little brother to CalMag. CalMag's the two older sisters. So if you take too much protein, out comes your calcium. Well, when you dump it in the blood, guess why you get varicose veins, spider veins, petechia, bruising easy? Why would you get those things? The loss of calcium in connective tissue of the vascular walls that make the thin walls, and you make for easy bleeding. Just like in your sinus, you'll blow out some mucus with blood. Why? Acids. And this is something you're creating, and now you have to uncreate it. Check your parathyroid, check your fingernails, make sure they're strong and claws. Make sure your skin is toned and tight. There's no spider veins, varicose veins. There's no cramping in the body. There's no depression, because most of these are all linked to osteoporosis anyway. And scoliosis, you just keep on freaking going. But this is all acidosis. This has been on all the videos, sweetheart. I also have had some stretch marks for a very long time. I have had, whilst they didn't really bother me, I was wondering if you had any success in getting rid of these. Some, like the women use all the oils, from the great seed to the wheat germ oil has been a real nutritive oil for these coconut oils, of course, and all these type of oils. But really, the body. Someone just wrote in, was saying that their scar tissues are starting to go away finally. So this is a longer term move. It is just to let you know, Samantha. But your body will re-eat up scar tissue. But that's down the road. That takes a while. You're not going to see it gone the first month or two. Your body's just settling into a detox the first month or two. I have had been to countless doctors for both conditions, and they have all mentioned they can't help me. I hope to hear from you soon, as I have a great day. Sending love from Toronto. Love to you, my dear one. Listen, sweetheart, just shows your lymph system's backed up. You're losing calcium to that. Check your parathyroid. Get your parathyroid up there and take off after getting that lymph system moving. Dr. Morse, it's K-I-N-A, kind of? Is that how you kind of? Writing to you, thank you for being so thanks, sweetheart, I love you. Have you some questions for me? Yeah, okay. Here are some questions from me and some from the people from the Facebook group. All right. This is what I want right here. What is lymph? Well... That's that viscous, clear fluid. If you pop a pimple, that's that nasty. Of course, that's got sewage in it. But that's that clear liquid. It's whitish even. As it dries, it whitens like dandruff. Those are acids, but it's also partly lymph. Lymph is a mucousy stuff. Semen. Good example. So you start to see these lipid-based fluids in the body. And they're lipid-based, so they have some protection against acidosis. So the lymph is a fluid that they generally say the lymph is in the lymph vessels, and the interstitial fluid, there's a designation between the two. I don't. Big deal. They're both the same fluid as far as I'm concerned. Interstitial fluid, lymph fluid. Mucousy, clear, viscous fluid. You get it when your nose starts running. Comes from the mucosa. The mucosa literally lines everything, and it's part of your immune system, but it's a big part of the lymphatic system. It's how the body protects the cells within. The mucosa is that immune responsive tissue that deals with foreign proteins and things like that, like foreign proteins in foods and virals and things like this. You're a sweetheart. Thank you, honey. How is it produced? Good question. We know that the fatty acids are absorbed in the villi of the bowel, probably feeding this system and enhancing this system. I still say that some of this has to go to the liver and be converted, but that's where I don't know that much about it either, to be honest with you. We know that the fatty acids of the foods are absorbed. That helps to feed the lipid side of that and keep that built up, I suppose. That's where I don't have enough experience there, dear. I've read it coming. I've read it also filtered through the heart. Oh yeah, this lymph fluid filters everywhere. It is literally head to toe. It is the tortoise and the hare, the eternal friends. One moves fast, one moves slow. They're eternal friends, and they inter-respond to each other constantly. Like I've said before, you get a juicy pimple, you pop it, you see a little blood, and you see mostly lymph. Interstitial foot. I think it's 1/4 blood, 3/4 lymph. Huge lymph system in the body, but a more mucousy lipid base. So the difference between the blood, if you cut yourself, it's kind of hard to see the lymph fluids with the blood fluids. It really is, but the lymph is that clear fluid. But the blood is so much of a thinner moving fluid. It has to be to move around the body in a timely manner. Lipids are more tortuous. They are thicker, more protective against acids. but they're found everywhere. About B12, can you explain I've already explained this in video after video, and I'm just not going to do it again. Sorry about that, sweetheart. Don't mean to be mean, but it's a covitamin. It comes out of the adrenals with cobalt metabolisms. You can go on with that. Latest research out did a placebo of B12, and actually the people that took the placebo did better than those that took the B12. Latest studies out. So I don't know. I never get into those things because really, you fix your adrenal glands and there's no deficiencies in B12s in your blood work or anything else. Fix those adrenal glands. Nuts, I really get it. Fruits, berries, and melons are the real foods. No supplements, no enzymes. Yeah, I mean, if you cheated real bad and you've had that food just sitting there, then a little enzyme could help it for sure. But that'd be the only time I'd recommend that. And no nuts on detox, no nuts on detox. And you want to be careful with nuts after detox too, because it's just easy to eat handfuls of nuts. I mean, I got to eating a lot of nuts after I was a fruitarian. Because now, remember, a fruitarian is someone who eats fruits, but fruits are considered nuts. Vegetable fruits, tomatoes, avocados, cucumbers, anything a plant or tree bears. So really the field starts expanding much bigger than when you see that. That means that's most of the food. So really, it's a lot bigger than you think. But when you're detoxing, you got to get the proteins to the side. When your kidneys are going owie, move all proteins to the side. Believe it or not, nuts are not meant to be consumed in huge numbers, just real hard. Even the coconut has a very protective wrapping around it. But what about Brazil nuts in general? I've heard they grow highs, and so far my mate and I have only beneficial effects from them. I think all nuts have some beneficial effects, no question. I suppose that the further in the tropics that nuts grow, the better off you are for them. That's always been my thing. One of the theses I wrote for my doctorate was on the geographical location of proteins and the environmental influences of that on people's health. And you can, and that also I touched on the mineral content of the soils, because if you take a look at further into the cold countries you go, you see the heavy minerals, you see the higher proteins growing, so you see that. But you see in the cold weather, you just start to see how all that relates to weather conditions and everything else. Where you have an arid or a hot country, or subtropics or tropics, you see more sand growing, but you get some delicious food out of the soils of the tropics, and they're not heavy. They're not like Wisconsin black soil. But with that said, you could take a watermelon, grow it out here in the sand, take a watermelon and grow it in Wisconsin on the soil, and I'll eat the watermelon growing on Wisconsin soil any day. So it's just, you have to realize nothing's perfect. This is a planet. You got creatures on it of every kind, including what we call Homo sapiens. The Homo sapiens species is a relatively new species, out of control, hasn't got their egos or their minds under control yet. They're too busy exploring the use of the mind instead of the use of consciousness, and so everything's out of control. There's judgmentals. I'm better than you. That's right. I'll kill you because I'm right, you're wrong. That sort of thing. That's insane. But shows extreme lack of spirituality and a lack of awareness. And so this is the problem, where we have to start breeding spirituality and love and health, and that's what you guys are doing. And you're doing such a good job. So I'm okay with things like that. But when you're detoxing, now this is about detoxification. Afterwards, I don't really care, because after you're done, your body is very sensitive to all kinds of things, including nuts. And so you might have to come down a little bit and down a little bit to work yourself down a little bit to find some balance for yourself. But while you're going, you want to dig into that lymph and clean it out and get your kidneys filtering and go into that body and move this lymph and rebuild everything. And man, then you balance out and however you want to live. Because far be to me to tell you, because there's too many ups and downs, there's too many cofactors, there's too many mate problems, family problems, stress problems. You just got so much that when you feel that need and your body's yelling at you and you get excited about health, run, baby. Run and take it on and fight it and love it and then wallow in it. I've been 45 years raw mostly, and I love every minute of it and still do. I haven't lost my enthusiasm one little bit. It's invigorating, but more invigorating is God. And your awareness of who you really are. That's much more invigorating. That's you. That directly is, oh, this is a car. You're just fixing your car up. You're the traveler. We'd love a thoroughly scientific Dr. Morse answer to what and why boobers, the nose products, is it lifted? Well, it's definitely chemistry, but it's a collection of what you're breathing in. The same thing in your mouth. If you are a mouth breather, you're breathing in. If you ever look at the air and what's in the air, really, I mean, the air is full of flying substances of every kind, full of car exhaust, full of everything. The air is so saturated with chemistry, you're breathing all that in and getting the boopers. But you're being trapped in what? Lymph! Yes! Now, you could take these boopers down to the lab and have them analyze it to see just what kind of gnarly chemistry you did breathe in. You guys are loved. I love you guys. What exactly are kidney stones and how do they become kidney stones? Well, remember, acids coagulate, acids combine, acids saturate. I mean, in one level, acids do tear apart, no question about it. There's no question at one level, acids create a cationic environment. But to tell you the truth, as you get into the deeper acids, you're creating more of an anionic. In other words, you go from a cationic to a dehydrated anionic environment where everything is agglomerated and sticking and everything else. And that's just the end product of dehydration, of acidosis. And so, let me see what are you right. So, you ever see us play in chemistry with Bunsen burners and everything? You constantly have chemistry coming together and breaking apart. So you constantly have this catabolic, anabolic process going on in your body. The breaking down and the rebuilding of chemistry constantly, waxing and waning with the pH needs of the body. And that could be a brain teaser, one I don't really want to go on. Because you could really, if you really wanted to donate that much brain power to this, you have a lot of questions I could feed you that would keep your mind quite active for quite some time in digging deep into the chemical world of this and magnetic world of this, But why? Just for the fun of it. Not for me anymore. Intellectualism for me isn't fun anymore because you reach a saturation point. Now I want grander experiences. I like to travel through the different worlds and see all the different spiritual cities and places that are nirvanic. That there's so much. This is just a little hole in the wall, and I mean a hole in the wall. But anything, and you can form calcifications anywhere in the body. About the same thing. You pull from bone matrix, pull from connective tissue. It doesn't matter if you're combining with oxalates or anything like that. You can form stones. When calcium is ionized, rocks. It's how you get bone matrix, but it's also how you form stones. And you find kidney stones in weak kidneys and highly inflamed kidneys. You don't find stones in tissue where you don't have acidosis in them. You never see that. This is all about acidosis and what the body's doing to fight acidosis, meaning leaching the calcium out, going back to this lady with the osteoporosis, but leaching the calcium out. Well, when calcium hits an acid medium, it rocks itself. So this is why you see calcifications, you see bone spurs, so to speak. You see all of these expressions of calcium that came out of the related joint or whatever. Is Epsom salt or fast food liquid necessary for a liver gallbladder flush? No. I never use the Epsom salt anyway. I don't like that. I don't recommend that one. No. Use some grapefruit juice, better than lemon. It'll keep that nausea down a little bit, but I only use the grapefruit and the oils. I do use a little apple just to kind of hold that nausea in place, and I don't chug. I sip and sip and do the little apple and follow the little grapefruit juice. You don't need to use that. These are things like, for an example, just had a lady that was scheduled for gallbladder surgery. Not anymore because she's got her gallbladder and a healthy gallbladder now, but she was scheduled for surgery, full of stones, highly inflamed, full of pain. Well, we backed her down. We used the phosphate liquid. We used all that. At the same, we don't use Epsom salts here, but I used the phosphate liquid to help break these stones up a little bit before she did her flush. And I kept her about 2 months doing that, and then we flushed. And saved her butt, saved her little gallbladder. And you can save these tissues, but you have to back that inflammation down. Well, inflammation is a product of what? Acidosis. So you have to back that down. As a rule, internal inflammation is systemic acidosis from kidneys not filtering the lymph again. And I got to get going. I've done 2 flushes so far, got some stones out, but didn't use any of these 2 solutions. I've heard they come in handy if a tough gallbladder stone comes out. Maybe, but if you do a little of the phosphate liquid beforehand, it actually breaks them up. And if you do raw for a month or 2 beforehand, it already brings them down anyway, shrinks them in. Because you can do this all by diet. You don't have to do a liver gallbladder flush. You can use the liver gallbladder herbs, and you can use the raw food diet. It'll take them out the same way. But, you know, some people are needs to get that out. And remember, it's not just gallstones, it's liver stones as well. And did you have instance of teeth regeneration for you or any of your patients? I have plenty of teeth regeneration with patients or clients, but not with myself. I have battled so much of this lymph all my life. Remember, my eyes used to be hazel. I'm done. My eyes used to be hazel, and now they're blue. So I came through a lot, but I didn't have the herbs. So I work with the herbs in myself, but I'm not pounding it right now. I'm so dang busy, I don't pound it. That's why I tell you guys, pound it now. Because when you kick up and you're working with people and you start getting busier, it's just harder to do things. You're so busy that your time is taken care of and you have very little for the self. That's why sometimes, how do you run a big business practice and keep yourself at arm's length? There's so many things we talk about in the school about how you run a practice and learning how you protect yourself. There's so many things to talk about, guys. So much fun, though. Do you have a piece of tooth missing? Well, we just read one where the cavitation's filled in. And the wonders if this can regrow. You know what? A good question. If you have a piece of tooth missing, if it can regrow. I've only had a few people get to the point of regrowing enamel. And Yaz is, you might say something on Facebook to Yaz, and maybe he'll write to you about what he's going through now with his teeth. But I haven't seen this a lot. So that's all I can tell you, that you got to really get up there to get it. And those people that got up there, I did see it. It was like, damn. So pretty cool stuff. Will the body get rid itself of the filling? Absolutely will. Matter of fact, you'll stop when your teeth start growing, you'll stop, these fillings will start popping. But I would definitely make sure I have the composite fillings, because you want to get the mercury out no matter what. So you want to go that way anyway. I just couldn't get to that level up in there myself. But I don't have the genes some of you guys do. I don't. I don't feel it, but boy, my eyes don't look so good in terms of weaknesses, you know. And I've been working on him. He refuses to go to the dentist. He has a well-working body, but the acidosis with him is on the bone and teeth level. Ow. See, that's the problem. And it is a big deal. It's cleaning everything down below. And a lot of this I didn't know when I was a fruitarian. And I'm learning through the years, guys. I'm learning through the years from all my clients and stuff. I just didn't read a book. It took me a lot of years to understand this, and it's going to take us more years to work this out. Like some of the questions you're asking me, they're just a deeper understanding. And I'm sure as we dig deeper, we'll find more expanded truths. And I just think that the search for truth is forever ongoing in creation. But you shouldn't let it dominate your full attention, because then you won't have any for yourself and for the fun and spirituality of life. So don't get too caught up in things. Years of drinking Coca-Cola, smoking. Yeah. And you know what? It just takes you a while to get back from all of that. That's all it is. How's a person born albino and why? Pituitary. We had a young lady from Hawaii, albino, but she didn't, I don't know, I haven't talked with her much. I talked with her for a short period of time. It's going to be a lot of work to work yourself back, to work that pituitary back and to see if there's going to be change. I've never had any albino convert themselves back. But it's pituitary all the way, guys, and that's when you want to look at what we can do. I mean, this is a world that's open and big. I'm excited at what you guys can do. You know, I'm done. I'm here as an educator now. I still see people, but you guys are tearing it up, and I'm so proud of every one of you. I love every one of you. Blessings, astral hugs. You and your team. Same to you, Kenneth. I love you guys, you know, and that's, you know, the best I can say there. And I got to run. And look at all the questions I haven't even got to. Look at all these. But it's always fun to spend time with you guys. You know, the world is the way it is. And it's, you know, you're not given a book here. And when you first come in here, there's so much mystery and ignorance and unawareness. And you're really on a very high unaware planet. This is a very ignorant planet to some, you'll see. You'll see. You guys traveling, you'll see. And you'll be shocked. You know, so it's really low on the totem pole, and you're doing the very best to get information out. You got those that want to suppress that information. You've got a lot of misinformation. There's just so much going on out there that you guard yourself against that. You use common sense, and the only word I could use for common sense is awareness. Don't get trapped by thought processes, because all you have is preconditioned thinking. So you can only think within what other people have thought, what people have discovered. You're still within that science. To learn true science is to get outside of the mind where you see what actually exists. Then you could use the mind to categorize and put it where you need to put it. But to see something, you have to get outside of thought, because thought can't see anything. You're the conscious being that has the mind. I love you guys. I got to go. Have fun today. See you. And I hope we can get this up for you. Not very much, though. I apologize for that. If I have a no-show again this afternoon, I'll spend it all on you guys. Thank you much. Bye-bye, guys. Love you all.